Hello, my dear friend. I want you to take a moment right now and just breathe with me. Take a deep, gentle breath in and let it out slowly. There you are. You've made it here today, and I'm so glad you have. You know, there's something beautiful happening in this very moment. You're already beginning to receive. You're receiving these words. You're receiving this time for yourself, and you're receiving the gift of possibility that brought you here. I know you're here because something inside you is calling for more. Maybe you've been working so hard, giving so much, trying so desperately to make things happen in your life, and yet somehow the very things you long for seem to stay just out of reach. Perhaps you've noticed that others around you seem to effortlessly attract the love, the opportunities, the abundance, the very things that you've been struggling to create. And maybe, just maybe, you've started to wonder if there's something wrong with you, if you're missing some secret that everyone else seems to know. Let me tell you something right now. With all the love in my heart, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not lacking. You are not behind or missing anything essential. What you might be experiencing is simply that you've forgotten how to receive. And sweet one, this is not your fault. Most of us were never taught how to receive. In fact, many of us were taught quite the opposite. You see, receiving is one of the most natural things in the world. When you were born, you knew exactly how to receive. You received love, nourishment, comfort, and care without any hesitation, without any guilt, without any sense that you needed to earn it or prove your worth. You simply opened your little arms and received what was offered with pure joy and gratitude. But somewhere along the way, many of us learned to close those arms, to build walls around our hearts, to believe that receiving meant we were somehow selfish or undeserving. Today, we're going to gently explore this together. We're going to look at what receiving really means and why it's not only okay for you to receive, but essential for your happiness and well-being. Receiving isn't about taking from others or being greedy or selfish. True receiving is about allowing the natural flow of love, abundance, and goodness that the universe is always offering to move through your life. It's about opening your heart and your hands to accept the gifts that are meant for you. Think about this for a moment. When someone you love offers you a genuine compliment, how do you respond? Do you brush it away with, "Oh, this old thing," or "I don't look that good"? When a friend wants to help you or do something kind for you, do you immediately say, "No, I'm fine," or "I don't want to be a burden"? These responses, while they might seem humble or polite, actually block the flow of love and goodness trying to reach you. The truth is, learning to receive is just as important as learning to give. They're two sides of the same beautiful coin. When you allow yourself to receive gracefully, you actually give others the gift of being able to give to you. You honor their generosity and their love. You complete the circle of giving and receiving that makes life so rich and meaningful. Now, I want you to know that if you've been struggling with receiving, you're not alone. This is one of the most common challenges I've seen in my many years of working with people. And the beautiful thing is, once you understand what's been blocking you and you learn some gentle ways to open up again, everything can begin to shift. You can start to receive the love that's all around you, the opportunities that are waiting for you, the abundance that is your natural birthright. So let's begin this journey together with patience and love for yourself. Let's explore what might be keeping you from receiving all the wonderful things that life wants to give you. And let's do it with the gentleness and compassion that you deserve. There's something I want you to understand right from the start. Whatever has been blocking you from receiving fully in your life, it didn't start with you. These patterns, these beliefs, these walls we build around our hearts, they usually began forming when we were very young, long before we had the wisdom or understanding to question them. Many of us grew up in families or environments where we learned, either directly or indirectly, that receiving was somehow wrong or dangerous. Perhaps you heard messages like, "Don't be greedy," You should be grateful for what you have. There's not enough to go around. Or, good people don't ask for things. Maybe you watched the adults around you struggle financially, and you learned that wanting more meant you were being selfish or ungrateful. Some of us learned that love and approval had to be earned through achievement, through being good, through taking care of others' needs before our own. We might have discovered that the safest way to get attention or affection was to give, 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 and never ask for anything in return. Over time, this can create a deep-seated belief that our worth depends on what we do for others, not on who we are. Others grew up feeling like they were too much, too emotional, too needy, too loud, too sensitive. Maybe you learned to make yourself smaller, to need less, to ask for less, because asking for what you wanted seemed to upset or burden the people you loved. You might have decided, consciously or unconsciously, that it was safer to expect nothing than to risk disappointment or rejection. These early experiences create what I like to think of as invisible barriers in our minds and hearts. They're like old programs running in the background of our consciousness, quietly influencing our choices and our responses without us even realizing it. When someone tries to give us something, whether it's a compliment, help with a project, or even something material, these old programs kick in automatically. They whisper things like, "You don't deserve this," "They're just being polite," "There must be a catch," or "You'll owe them something in return." The fascinating thing about these blocks is how they show up not just in our thoughts, but in our bodies too. When someone offers us something wonderful, instead of feeling open and grateful, we might notice our shoulders tightening, our breath becoming shallow, or a knot forming in our stomach. Our body literally contracts against receiving, even when our mind knows we want whatever is being offered. Sometimes the block shows up as a compulsive need to immediately give something back. You know this feeling? Someone does something nice for you, and you can't rest until you've done something equally nice for them. While gratitude and reciprocity are beautiful things, when they come from a desperate need to even the score, they can actually block the natural flow of giving and receiving. Other times, the block appears as a deep discomfort with being seen as someone who has needs or wants. You might find yourself constantly saying things like, "I'm fine," "I don't need anything," or "Don't worry about me," even when you're struggling or could really use some support. This can create a wall between you and others, making it difficult for love and help to reach you even when it's freely offered. Fear plays a big role in these blocks too. Fear of disappointment, fear of obligation, fear of vulnerability, fear of being hurt. When we receive something from someone, especially something meaningful, we open ourselves up. We become visible in our need, our desire, our humanity. For many of us, this feels terrifying because we've been hurt before when we were open and vulnerable. But here's what I want you to understand. These blocks, these patterns, these fears, they were created by a younger version of you who was doing the best they could to stay safe and loved in whatever situation they found themselves in. That younger self developed these strategies because they worked at the time. They protected you in some way. But now, as an adult, these same strategies might be keeping you from experiencing the fullness of life that's available to you. The beautiful thing is that what was learned can be unlearned. What was closed can be opened again. The walls that were built for protection can be gently dismantled when they're no longer needed. Your heart's natural capacity to receive has never been damaged or lost. It's just been temporarily covered over by old fears and beliefs. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you. You are worthy of receiving simply because you exist, not because of what you do, not because of how good you are, not because of how much you give to others, but simply because you are here, breathing, living, being human on this beautiful planet. This might be difficult for you to accept right now, and that's okay. Many of us have been taught that worthiness is something we have to earn, something we have to prove, something that can be taken away if we're not careful. But the deepest truth is that your worthiness is built into the very fabric of who you are. It's not something you can lose, and it's not something you have to work to deserve. Think about the flowers in a garden. Do they have to earn the right to receive sunlight and rain? Do they have to prove they're worthy of the nutrients in the soil? Of course not. They simply open to receive what they need. And in doing so, they bloom into their full beauty and share their gifts with the world. You are like those flowers. You have an inherent right to receive what you need to bloom and thrive. The universe operates on principles of abundance, not scarcity. Look around you at nature, the countless stars in the sky, the endless waves of the ocean, the way trees produce far more seeds than they could ever need. There is a generosity woven into the very structure of life itself. You are part of this abundant universe, not separate from it. The same creative force that brings rain to nourish the earth and causes fruit to grow on trees wants to nourish and support your life too. But receiving isn't just about material things or even opportunities. It's about allowing yourself to be loved, to be supported, to be cared for. It's about accepting compliments gracefully, letting friends help you when you need it, and opening your heart to the kindness that people want to show you. When you do this, you're not taking anything away from anyone else. Love multiplies when it's received well. Kindness grows when it's appreciated. Generosity flourishes when it's welcomed. One of the most beautiful things about learning to receive is that it actually enhances your ability to give. When you allow yourself to be filled up with love, support, and abundance, you naturally have more to share with others. It's like a well that's constantly being replenished. The more it receives water from underground springs, the more it can give to all who come to drink from it. Many people worry that if they start receiving more, they'll become selfish or greedy. But true receiving doesn't work that way. When you receive from a place of worthiness and gratitude, when you accept gifts and blessings with an open heart, you actually become more generous, more loving, more able to give to others from a place of fullness rather than emptiness. The key is understanding that receiving and taking are completely different energies. Taking comes from a sense of lack, fear, or entitlement. It's grabbing and hoarding, trying to get something from others to fill an empty space inside. Receiving, on the other hand, comes from a place of openness and gratitude. It's allowing good things to flow to you naturally, accepting them with appreciation, and letting them nourish you so you can share your gifts with the world. When you receive well, you also give others the gift of feeling generous and helpful. Think about how good it feels when you give something to someone who truly appreciates it, who receives it with joy and gratitude. Compare that to how it feels when someone brushes off your gift or acts like they don't really want it. Your gracious receiving is actually a gift to the giver. This is what I mean when I talk about the natural law of giving and receiving. It's not a rule that someone made up. It's how energy moves in the universe. Everything is in constant flow, constant exchange. The earth receives rain and gives back the oxygen we breathe. Plants receive nutrients from the soil and give back beauty and fruit. Animals receive care from nature and give back by participating in the great web of life. You are part of this flow. And when you try to only give without receiving, or only receive without giving, you interrupt the natural rhythm of life. So instead of thinking about whether you deserve to receive, start thinking about how you can receive more gracefully, more openly, more beautifully. How can you say thank you in a way that honors both the gift and the giver? How can you open your heart a little wider to let in the love that's all around you? How can you trust that the universe truly does want to support you and bless you in countless ways? Your worthiness isn't something you need to prove or earn. It's something you need to remember, to reclaim, to allow yourself to feel deeply in your bones. You deserve love simply because you are love. You deserve abundance because you are an expression of an abundant universe. You deserve kindness because kindness is your true nature too. Now that we've begun to understand your inherent worthiness, let's gently explore what's been growing in the garden of your mind. You see, our thoughts are like seeds, and whatever we plant in the fertile soil of our consciousness will eventually grow and bear fruit in our lives. If we've been planting seeds of unworthiness, scarcity, and fear, then that's what we'll harvest. But the beautiful thing about gardens is that we can always choose to plant something different. Many of us have minds that are like overgrown gardens, full of weeds that have been growing unchecked for years. These weeds are the limiting thoughts and beliefs about receiving that we picked up along the way. Thoughts like, I don't deserve good things, there's not enough for everyone, if I receive too much, something bad will happen, or I'm being selfish if I want more. These thought weeds might have served a purpose once, but now they're choking out the beautiful flowers of possibility that want to grow in your life. The first step in clearing your mental garden is simply becoming aware of these thoughts. Most of the time, they run so automatically in the background of our minds that we don't even notice them, but they're there, quietly influencing every decision we make, every opportunity we accept or reject, every compliment we receive or deflect. So for the next few days, I want you to become a gentle observer of your own thoughts, especially around receiving. When someone offers you something, whether it's help, a compliment, an invitation, or a gift, notice what immediately pops into your mind. Don't judge these thoughts or try to change them right away. Just notice them with curiosity and compassion. You might be surprised by what you discover. Perhaps you'll hear your mother's voice saying, "Don't be greedy," or your father's worry about money, or a teacher's warning about being too big for your britches. These aren't really your thoughts. They're old programs that got installed when you were too young to question them. Once you start noticing these thoughts, you can begin the gentle work of weeding your mental garden. But please, be patient and loving with yourself in this process. You don't need to uproot everything at once. In fact, trying to force change too quickly often creates resistance and makes the process harder than it needs to be. Instead, treat these old thoughts like you would treat weeds in a real garden, with gentle persistence and the understanding that this is ongoing care, not a one-time event. When you catch yourself thinking a limiting thought about receiving, try this gentle approach. First, thank the thought for trying to protect you. Even our most limiting beliefs usually developed as a way to keep us safe in some situation. Then, ask yourself if this thought is actually true right now, in this moment, in your current situation. Usually, you'll find that these old thoughts are outdated. They might have made sense when you were 7 years old and your family was struggling financially, but they don't serve you now as a capable adult. Next, you can begin to plant new seeds in place of the old ones. Instead of, "I don't deserve good things," you might plant, "I am worthy of all the love and abundance life has to offer." Instead of, "There's not enough for everyone," you could plant, "The universe is abundant and there's plenty for all of us." Instead of, "Receiving makes me selfish," try, "When I receive gracefully, I honor both the giver and myself." This process of mental gardening also involves forgiveness, both for yourself and for others. You might need to forgive yourself for all the good things you've pushed away because you didn't feel worthy. You might need to forgive the people who taught you these limiting beliefs, understanding that they were probably just passing along what they learned when they were young. Forgiveness doesn't mean you approve of what happened or that you're excusing anyone's behavior. It simply means you're choosing to release the emotional charge around these old patterns so they don't continue to control your life. One powerful technique for clearing mental blocks is what I call mental house cleaning. Just like you might clean out a closet, going through each item and deciding whether to keep it, donate it, or throw it away, you can go through your beliefs about receiving and make conscious choices about which ones serve you and which ones need to go. Take a quiet moment each day to examine one belief at a time. Hold it up to the light of your current wisdom and adult understanding. Ask yourself, does this belief help me create the life I want? Does it support my happiness and well-being? Does it align with my deepest values and my highest vision for myself? If the answer is no, then it's time to lovingly release that belief and choose something better. You can literally visualize yourself placing the old belief in a beautiful box, thanking it for any way it served you, and then releasing it into the light. Then consciously choose a new, more supportive belief to take its place. Write it down, say it out loud, feel what it would be like if this new belief were completely true for you. Remember, clearing your mental garden is not about perfection. It's about progress, about gradually creating more space for the good things you want to grow in your life. Some days you'll feel like you're making great progress, and other days it might feel like the weeds are growing faster than you can pull them. That's completely normal and okay. Just keep coming back to this gentle practice of awareness, choice, and conscious cultivation of thoughts that support your highest good. While we've been working in your mental garden, let's also turn our attention to your heart, that beautiful, tender center of your being where so much of your capacity for receiving actually lives. Your heart is naturally designed to receive love, but many of us have developed protective mechanisms around our hearts that make receiving feel scary or dangerous. Think about your heart like a flower that naturally wants to open to the sunlight, but has learned to close its petals when it senses any possibility of storm or frost. This closing might have protected you from real pain in the past, but if your heart stays closed all the time, it also can't receive the warmth and nourishment it needs to flourish. Opening your heart to receive is different from opening your mind. While mental work involves changing thoughts and beliefs, heart work involves feeling, breathing, and allowing yourself to be touched by life. It's about developing the courage to be vulnerable, to let yourself be seen and known and cared for by others. Many of us have hearts that are wrapped in layers of protection, walls built from past hurts, disappointments, and betrayals. These walls might be made of pride, independence, cynicism, or simply the habit of emotional numbness. While these walls might feel safe, they also keep out the very love and connection we most deeply crave. The beautiful thing about your heart is that it doesn't need to be forced open. Hearts respond to gentleness, patience, and safety. Just like a shy animal that will come closer if you sit quietly and let it approach at its own pace, your heart will naturally begin to open when it feels safe to do so. One of the most powerful ways to begin opening your heart to receive is through the simple practice of feeling your feelings without trying to fix them, change them, or push them away. When someone offers you kindness or love, instead of immediately deflecting or analyzing, try simply pausing and noticing what you feel in your body. Where do you feel warmth? Where do you feel tightness? What emotions arise? Often, when we're not used to receiving, the first feeling that comes up when someone is kind to us is actually fear or discomfort. This is completely normal. Your heart is simply responding to an unfamiliar situation. Instead of judging these feelings or trying to make them go away, try breathing into them gently. Place your hand on your heart and say something like, "It's okay, sweetheart. It's safe to feel this. We're learning something new." Another powerful practice for opening your heart is learning to receive your own love and compassion. Many of us are much kinder to others than we are to ourselves. We extend grace, understanding, and encouragement to our friends, but we speak to ourselves with harshness and criticism. If you want to become better at receiving love from others, start by learning to receive love from yourself. Try this gentle exercise. Place both hands on your heart and take a few deep breaths. Feel the steady, faithful beating of your heart. This heart that has been with you through every moment of your life, that has never stopped loving you even when you've been hard on yourself. Now speak to your heart the way you would speak to a beloved friend who was struggling. You might say something like, "I love you. I'm sorry for all the times I've been harsh with you. You deserve so much kindness and care." This might feel strange or uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to speaking to yourself with tenderness. That's okay. Like any new skill, it takes practice, but the more you learn to receive love from yourself, the easier it becomes to receive love from others. Breathing is another beautiful gateway to opening your heart. When we're afraid or protecting ourselves, our breathing becomes shallow and restricted. But when we breathe deeply and consciously, we literally create more space in our chest, more room for our heart to expand and open. Try taking slow, deep breaths that expand not just your belly, but your whole rib cage. Imagine each inhale bringing more space and softness to your heart area. You can also work with the energy of gratitude to help open your heart to receive. Gratitude is like a key that unlocks the heart's natural receptivity. When you focus on what you're grateful for, even small things like the warmth of sunlight on your face or the taste of your morning coffee, your heart naturally opens and becomes more available to receive even more good things. But remember, opening your heart doesn't mean being naive or unprotected. You can have an open heart and still maintain healthy boundaries. You can be receptive to love and kindness while still being discerning about who you let into your inner circle. True heart opening is about being authentically yourself, not about being whatever you think others want you to be. The goal isn't to have your heart wide open to everyone and everything all the time. That would be overwhelming and exhausting. Instead, it's about developing the flexibility to open and close your heart consciously based on what each situation calls for. It's about removing the walls that keep love out, even when it's safe and beneficial to receive it. Now, let's talk about the practical method, the step-by-step approach that can help you become a skilled and graceful receiver. This isn't about forcing yourself to accept things you don't want or need. It's about developing the inner capacity to recognize and welcome the good things that are already trying to flow into your life. The first step in this method is what I call daily receiving practice. Just like you might exercise your body to keep it strong and flexible, you need to exercise your receiving muscles to keep them strong and responsive. Start small and simple. Each day, look for one small thing you can receive gracefully. Maybe it's a compliment from a coworker. Maybe it's someone holding a door open for you. Maybe it's a beautiful sunset that you allow yourself to truly take in and appreciate. When you receive this small gift, whatever it is, practice a 3-part response. First, pause and really let it land. Don't immediately deflect or minimize it. Just let yourself feel what it's like to receive this kindness or beauty. Second, say thank you, either out loud or in your heart, with genuine appreciation. Third, let yourself enjoy it for a moment. Let it warm your heart, bring a smile to your face, or simply create a moment of sweetness in your day. This might sound almost too simple, but I promise you, this daily practice will begin to shift something fundamental in your relationship with receiving. You're literally training your nervous system to relax around receiving instead of contracting in fear or discomfort. The second step is learning to ask for what you need. Many people who struggle with receiving also struggle with asking. They've learned to be so independent and self-sufficient that they rarely let others know what they need or want. But asking is actually the first part of receiving. It's how you let the universe know that you're ready and willing to receive support. Start with small, specific requests. Instead of suffering in silence when you need help, try asking one person for one specific thing. Maybe you ask a friend to listen while you talk through a problem, or you ask a family member to help you with a project, or you ask for directions when you're lost instead of driving around trying to figure it out yourself. The key is to ask without apology and without immediately offering something in return. Simply state your need clearly and kindly, and then be open to receiving the help that's offered. The third step involves what I call mirror work for receiving. This is a practice of looking at yourself in the mirror and speaking to yourself about your worthiness to receive. It might feel silly or uncomfortable at first, but mirrors have a way of reflecting back to us truths that we might not otherwise see. Look into your own eyes in the mirror and say things like, "You deserve to be loved and cared for." It's okay for you to have good things in your life. You are worthy of kindness and support. Notice what feelings come up when you say these things. If you feel resistance, that's information about where you still have work to do. If you feel emotional, that's often a sign that these words are touching something true and tender in your heart. The fourth step is developing what I call gratitude magnetism. When you appreciate what you already have, you create a magnetic field that draws more good things to you. But this isn't about pretending to be grateful for things you don't actually appreciate. It's about genuinely noticing and acknowledging the gifts that are already present in your life. Keep a receiving journal where you write down not just what you're grateful for, but specifically what you've received each day. This might include tangible things like gifts or help from others, but also intangible things like moments of beauty, insights, feelings of peace, or experiences of love. When you start paying attention to how much you're already receiving, you'll be amazed at the abundance that's constantly flowing to you. The fifth step is learning to receive compliments and praise gracefully. This is where many people really struggle. When someone says something nice about you, instead of deflecting with comments like, "Oh, it was nothing," or "I just got lucky," try simply saying, "Thank you." Let the compliment sink in. Allow yourself to feel good about whatever you did or whatever quality they're acknowledging in you. If receiving compliments feels too difficult at first, you can practice with what I call the compliment bridge. When someone compliments you, say thank you, and then redirect some appreciation back to them, not to deflect from their compliment, but to create a flow of mutual appreciation. For example, if someone says, "You did such a great job on that presentation," you might say, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to tell me that." Remember, this method isn't about becoming someone who only takes and never gives. It's about finding the beautiful balance between giving and receiving that allows love and abundance to flow freely through your life. When you become good at receiving, you actually become a better giver too, because you're giving from a place of fullness rather than emptiness. Now let's explore how this beautiful art of receiving can transform different areas of your life. You see, receiving isn't just one skill. It's like a golden thread that weaves through every aspect of your human experience, bringing more richness, connection, and joy wherever it touches. In your relationships, learning to receive can completely change the quality of love and connection you experience. Many of us have become so focused on being the giver, the helper, the one who has it all together, that we've forgotten how to let others love us. But relationships thrive on mutuality, on the back and forth flow of care and support. When you allow your partner, your friends, or your family members to do kind things for you, to help you, to show they care, you're giving them the precious gift of feeling needed and appreciated. You're also allowing them to see the real you, not just the strong, capable version you present to the world, but the tender, sometimes vulnerable human being who, like everyone else, benefits from love and support. Receiving love doesn't mean becoming dependent or needy. It means being honest about your humanity. It means letting your loved ones know when you're struggling and accepting their comfort. It means allowing them to celebrate your successes with you instead of brushing off their excitement. It means saying yes when they offer to help with something, even if you could technically do it yourself. Sometimes receiving in relationships means simply being present when others want to share with you. Truly listening when someone wants to tell you about their day, accepting their compliments about how you look, letting them cook you dinner or bring you flowers just because they want to express their love. Each time you receive these gestures gracefully, you're strengthening the bonds between you and creating more space for love to grow. When it comes to your health and healing, receiving becomes especially important. Your body is constantly trying to give you information, and learning to receive these messages with curiosity rather than judgment can transform your relationship with your physical self. Instead of fighting against symptoms or ignoring your body's signals, you can learn to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. Receiving in the area of health also means accepting help and support when you need it. It means going to the doctor when something doesn't feel right, instead of trying to tough it out alone. It means accepting assistance from friends and family when you're not feeling well, instead of insisting that you're fine when you're clearly not. But perhaps most importantly, receiving in the area of health means allowing yourself to accept the healing that's available to you. This might come through medical treatment, through rest and self-care, through the love and support of others, or through your body's own remarkable ability to heal and regenerate. Sometimes we unconsciously block our own healing because we don't feel worthy of feeling good, or because being sick has become a familiar identity that we're afraid to let go of. In the realm of abundance and prosperity, receiving takes on a whole different dimension. Many of us have complicated relationships with money and material abundance. We might feel guilty about having more than others, or worry that enjoying abundance makes us shallow or materialistic. But true abundance isn't about greed or materialism. It's about having enough resources to live comfortably, to be generous with others, and to pursue your dreams and purposes in life. Receiving abundance starts with being willing to acknowledge and appreciate what you already have. It means noticing the wealth that's already present in your life, perhaps not just in terms of money, but in terms of health, relationships, opportunities, experiences, and simple daily pleasures. When you truly appreciate what you have, you create space for more good things to flow to you. But receiving abundance also means being open to opportunities when they come your way. It means saying yes to the job offer that excites you, even if it feels like a stretch. It means accepting the unexpected money that comes to you, whether it's a tax refund, a gift, or an opportunity to earn more, without immediately finding reasons why you don't deserve it or why it won't last. Sometimes receiving abundance means allowing others to treat you to nice things, letting a friend pay for dinner, accepting a generous gift, or allowing someone to share their abundance with you. Other times it means investing in yourself, buying the course that will help you grow, getting the treatment that will help you feel better. or purchasing something that brings genuine joy to your life. When it comes to opportunities and guidance, receiving often requires a different kind of openness, an openness to possibilities you might not have considered, paths you might not have planned, and wisdom that comes from unexpected sources. Life is constantly offering us opportunities to grow, to learn, to expand our horizons, but we have to be receptive enough to recognize them when they appear. Sometimes opportunities come disguised as challenges or changes that we didn't ask for. A job loss might be an opportunity to pursue something you're more passionate about. A relationship ending might be an opportunity to discover more about who you are when you're not trying to please someone else. A health challenge might be an opportunity to slow down and reassess your priorities. Receiving guidance means being open to wisdom from many sources, from books, from conversations with friends, from your own inner knowing, from nature, from dreams, from the synchronicities and coincidences that seem to point you in certain directions. It means paying attention to what lights you up and what drains you, and trusting these feelings as important information about the direction your life wants to go. Even as you develop your capacity to receive, you'll find that old patterns of resistance sometimes surface. This is completely normal and nothing to worry about. Resistance is simply your psyche's way of trying to keep you safe, and it often shows up most strongly when you're making positive changes that challenge old ways of being. When resistance arises, the first thing to remember is to be gentle with yourself. Don't fight against the resistance or judge yourself for having it. Instead, try to understand what it's trying to protect you from. Often, resistance shows up because some part of you is afraid that if you start receiving more, you'll lose control, or people will expect too much from you, or you'll become someone you don't want to be. Sometimes resistance manifests as physical symptoms: tightness in your chest when someone offers to help, a knot in your stomach when someone compliments you, or fatigue when good opportunities present themselves. When you notice these physical responses, breathe into them gently and remind yourself that it's safe to receive. Your body is just responding to old programming, and with patience and practice, these responses will begin to soften. Other times, resistance shows up as mental chatter, thoughts like, "This is too good to be true," "The other shoe is going to drop," or "I don't deserve this." When these thoughts arise, acknowledge them without judgment, and then gently redirect your attention to the present moment. Ask yourself, right now, in this moment, what is actually happening? Usually you'll find that in the present moment, someone is simply offering you kindness, and there's no actual danger in receiving it gracefully. One particularly effective way to work with resistance is through what I call baby steps receiving. If receiving something big feels overwhelming, start with something smaller. If accepting a major compliment feels too intense, practice receiving small acknowledgments. If letting someone do something significant for you feels too scary, start by letting them do small favors. Your nervous system needs time to learn that receiving is safe, and it will learn more easily if you don't overwhelm it with too much too fast. When old patterns resurface, it can be helpful to remember that healing isn't linear. You might have a week where you feel like you're receiving beautifully, followed by a day when you catch yourself pushing away every good thing that comes your way. This back and forth is part of the process, not a sign that you're failing or moving backward. During these times of resistance, extra self-compassion becomes essential. Treat yourself the way you would treat a dear friend who was learning something difficult. Be patient with your process. Celebrate the small victories. And remember that every time you choose to receive something gracefully, even if it feels uncomfortable, you're building new neural pathways that will make receiving easier in the future. As you continue to practice and develop your receiving abilities, you'll find that it becomes a natural and integrated part of how you move through the world. You won't have to think so much about whether you deserve something or how to respond gracefully. These things will begin to happen automatically. Living as a receiver means maintaining an open heart and open hands as you go through your days. It means staying curious about what gifts each day might bring, whether they come in the form of kind words from a stranger, an unexpected solution to a problem you've been struggling with, or simply a moment of beauty that catches your attention. It means developing what I like to call receiving eyes, the ability to see the abundance and love that's constantly flowing around you. With receiving eyes, you notice the effort your spouse puts into making your morning coffee just the way you like it. You see the genuine care in your friend's voice when they ask how you're doing. You recognize the gift of your health when you wake up feeling strong and energetic. Living as a receiver also means continuing to build and strengthen your receiving muscles through regular practice. Just like physical fitness, your capacity to receive gracefully requires ongoing attention and care. This might mean continuing to work with affirmations that support your worthiness, maintaining a gratitude practice that helps you recognize what you're already receiving, or regularly checking in with yourself about where you might be unconsciously blocking good things from reaching you. One of the most beautiful aspects of living as a receiver is that it naturally enhances your ability to give as well. When you're regularly filled up with love, support, and abundance, you have more to offer others. Your giving becomes an overflow of your fullness rather than an attempt to fill an inner emptiness. This creates a sustainable cycle of giving and receiving that nourishes everyone involved. As you become more comfortable receiving in your own life, you might also find that you become better at giving to others in ways they can actually receive. You develop more sensitivity to when someone is ready to receive help and when they need space to figure things out on their own. You learn to offer your gifts in ways that honor the other person's dignity and autonomy. Remember that living as a receiver is not about becoming passive or entitled. It's about finding the beautiful balance between effort and receptivity, between doing and allowing, between making things happen and staying open to what wants to happen through you. Some days you'll be more in your giving mode, actively creating and contributing. Other days you'll be more in your receiving mode, allowing life to fill you up and support you. Both are valuable and both are necessary for a rich and fulfilling life. My dear friend, as we come to the close of our time together today, I want you to know something deeply important. You have everything within you that you need to become a beautiful receiver of all the love, abundance, and joy that life wants to give you. The capacity to receive gracefully isn't something you have to earn or develop from scratch. It's something you were born with, something that's been waiting patiently within you to be remembered and reclaimed. The journey we've taken together today, from understanding what blocks us from receiving, to clearing space in our minds and hearts, to learning practical methods for welcoming more good into our lives, this journey doesn't end here. It's actually just the beginning. Every day offers you new opportunities to practice receiving, new chances to say yes to the gifts that are offered to you, new moments to remember your inherent worthiness. Please be patient and compassionate with yourself as you continue this practice. Change doesn't happen overnight, and that's perfectly okay. Some days you'll feel like you're receiving beautifully, with an open heart and grateful hands. Other days you might catch yourself falling back into old patterns of pushing away compliments, refusing help, or feeling unworthy of good things. Both kinds of days are part of your journey, and both deserve your love and acceptance. Remember that every small step counts. Every time you say, "Thank you" for a compliment instead of deflecting it. Every time you accept help gracefully instead of insisting you're fine. Every time you allow yourself to enjoy something beautiful instead of feeling guilty about it. These small moments are adding up to create profound shifts in your life. The world needs you to receive well. It needs you to be filled up with love and joy and abundance so that you can shine your unique light brightly. It needs you to model for others what it looks like to live with an open heart, to accept good things gracefully, to believe deeply in your own worthiness. When you learn to receive beautifully, you give others permission to do the same. Trust in the abundant nature of the universe. Trust in your own worthiness. Trust in the love that's all around you, waiting for you to open up and let it in. You are so loved, so supported, and so deserving of all the wonderful things that are making their way to you right now. Take this truth with you. You are worthy of receiving love, abundance, joy, and all the beautiful gifts that life has to offer. Not because of what you do or how perfect you are, but simply because you exist. You are a precious and irreplaceable part of this magnificent universe, and the universe delights in blessing you. Start today. Start right now. Look around you and find one small thing to receive with gratitude. Feel how it lands in your heart. Notice how it feels to say yes to goodness. And then tomorrow, do it again. Day by day, moment by moment, you're creating a life of greater receptivity, deeper joy, and more abundant love. The universe is waiting to give you so much more than you've allowed yourself to imagine. All you have to do is open your beautiful hands and your beautiful heart and receive.